So chapter 58 of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse had a lot of setup and foreshadowing to the future of the series, and honestly the ending I'm a little bit weird with, and I'll get to it in a second. But before we get into the actual video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. And also don't forget to check me out on Instagram and Twitter if you want to check out when I upload next, and just whatever the hell else I'm doing or talking about, so you guys can be up to date with what I'm doing. Now then, let's get into that intro. So last week we basically got the setup for the fourth night, confirming Gawain's name and also getting all three Knights of the Apocalypse set up to search the kingdom to try and find Gawain. And this week we start off where we left off, but this time with Tristan's group, as Xion basically starts talking about the four knights, asking, do we even really need them, the Knights of the Apocalypse? And Tristan's confused, and Jade is like, you don't trust our king's prophecy? Hell, even Xion's like, no, but between Lancelot and that kid, these Knights of Prophecy all seem to be country hicks, and it's driving him crazy as he clenches his fist. So we're getting a bit into Xion's insecurities and stuff like that regarding the four knights, so we might see why he's been so eager to, well, kill Percival and his friends last time. We then get to hear from Tristan's point of view. He says that Lancelot's pretty great, and he even says that he has more power and experience than Tristan, which is incredible to think about, because Tristan is half goddess and half demon, two of the strongest races in the Seven Deadly Sins world, and he's a hybrid of them, so you can only imagine how strong Lancelot has to be. So this might tie into his training with the Lady of the Lake between the events of the Four Knights and the Seven Deadly Sins. And Tristan's even saying that he's pretty sure that Percival is probably the exact same way. We even get to hear that how he thinks that Percival is probably holding some hidden power. But for now, they have to focus on tracking Gawain. And as they're walking, Xion notices something, and as they keep looking, Xion starts to walk away. And as Tristan and Jade are talking about their only lead being the fact that, well, Gawain's in a white suit of armor with a golden trim, and even saying that it's China Tristan's fault, that that's all they have to go off of, they try and tell Xion to stick with them, but all of a sudden, they notice that he's gone. Xion's walking on the ground, and he notices someone in a suit of armor above one of the walls. And we hear a phew, and it is Gawain in the suit of armor, and above Gawain is Xion waiting above the wall and casts a spell trapping Gawain with earth magic. Two hands made out of the ground clutching Gawain's legs to make sure he doesn't escape. And Xion's like, one must always act on the worst case scenario, and your worst case is happening right now. I don't believe in things like prophecies. All I trust in is me and those I believe. Poor guy, some anonymous knight in the crowd. You know who would miss you around here if you died? Nobody. And that's the entire scene. I gotta admit, that's a really good scene to leave off at, because we're thinking that Xion is a traitor, an assassin of chaos, essentially. And that might end up being what it is, but it's possible that he has so much faith in Tristan and his own beliefs that he doesn't want anything else that questions it or even alters it in any particular way. So any particular thing that he sees as a threat to himself and even Tristan could potentially be someone that he's just willing to straight up kill or destroy. Now we get a close-up of the sky where it seems like it is the sun or the moon. I think it's the moon. I can't, sometimes I can't tell if it's night right now. But yeah, we cut back to Percival's group as they're looking through all the Leonis Knights. And just wondering, what is golden magic? What does it look like? What kind of stuff what is it like? And then everyone hears like a noise in the background, and we see this guy that we saw last chapter eating food and drinking beer as a Knight of Leonis shows up, asking him what brings him to Leonis, asking if he's a traveler or a merchant, as he's never seen him in the town before. And this knight says, I'm looking for something. And this is a very minor detail, but I like how Top of that basically has this guy sitting outside of the panel as he's staring and talking to the other knight, as if it's like from our perspective. I like these type of panel breaking moments where the art just kind of is supposed to be like outside of the panel, seemingly otherworldly. And this could be foreshadowing to what his power might actually be. But yeah, so this knight is called Peleo, Ruby Holy Knight, and head of the guard of the West Gate. they're kind of looking for anyone suspicious or has any type of hostile elements, as this is a very hostile time for them, so they have to constantly investigate any suspicious character that they run into. Now, the man sitting down is wondering what Ruby Holy Knight means. What rank does that name afford him? But the knight says that no one seems to have noticed, but you're out to kill, aren't you? And the traveler gets up and says that this is the best way to lure out the strongest, you know. Now let's see what you're made of. So it's possible that this guy, either A, he is a Knight of Chaos. This is probably a very obvious thing to think of. Or B, he's literally just a traveling knight who just wants to fight. Either way, Nakabas wouldn't be just introducing this character in such a way to, you know, to just throw him away later down the road. He's got to be important for something. But anyway, a fight begins as this traveler is about to fight a Holy Knight. He's warming up, cranking his neck, and the Holy Knight gives away his weapon, saying that he's not going to use a blade on an unarmed man. And now they begin to fight. The traveler throws a barrage of punches at this knight, but the knight manages to dodge and evade, going behind him as he then lands a blow on the traveler. And after landing the blow, the knight asks for his name. But just like that, his glove starts to burst into flames. So he throws it off and asks what is going on. Seeming like steam, I believe, is coming off his body, saying, "I will give my name if I deem you worthy of it." I'm curious. I am very curious as to what the hell is going on right now with this guy. This is very out there, but earlier in this chapter, we got an image of what seems like potentially the sun. Because I forgot, I think this is during the day. If this is the sun, and this guy is steaming and there was fire on this guy's hand, what if this guy has sunshine? What if this random guy that has been introduced has sunshine? I mean, he's acting pretty prideful, so that could be a thing. I'm just throwing this out there. I know the whole Gawain sunshine theory is very popular, and I'm pretty much all for it. But imagine if that was just a red herring to the true wielder of sunshine. That'd be freaking hilarious, and also a pretty decent twist. But anyway, now we head to Lancelot, as he's sitting on top of, I believe he was going to the South Gate. He's close to the South Gate, looking over the townspeople and using his ability to read everyone's minds to try and find Gawain. Now that is kind of the best way to look for it. And then, the girl that we saw last chapter asks, "What are you doing out in the rain?" As Lancelot is just like, "Damn, Tristan, you have more trouble for me." As the girl tells Lancelot that he'll catch a cold, and he says, "No, I won't. Go back to your bed, little girl." And they both say at the same time, "Can't grow up big and strong without enough sleep." Surprised by this, looks over and asks, "Wait, are you reading my mind?" And the girl stands up on the ledge with him and says, "No, I don't have that power. I just knew what you were going to say." And even states Lancelot by name, as he's like, "Wait, hold on, who are you? You know my name." And he's like, "Wait, I've seen her before." And just like that, she wobbles and she's about to fall off the ledge, and Lancelot catches her in his arms as she says, "I am your lover," as she then kisses Lancelot, ending the chapter. So let's just go with the obvious. Okay, so I gotta say this. We are kind of convinced that Guinevere is going to show up in the story at some point, and it's very obvious from this that this is most likely Guinevere. And if we go back to the Peaks of Fear, where the demon village was when Lancelot was still Sin, he had a vision of a woman in a bride outfit and basically stating to know his name. And we've all theorized that this was Guinevere, who would be Lancelot's future love interest, and would also essentially be someone that Arthur was looking for to be his bride also. And cut to this chapter, we have a girl who shows up saying that she is Lancelot's lover. So this is turning out to be Guinevere, but I have questions. Could it be A, perhaps Guinevere is not actually a young girl? And I'm going to get into what if she is in a minute. What if she is similar to Merlin, but instead of aging herself up permanently, stopping her own time, she aged herself down so no one would recognize her, and then that way she can sneak around a lot more easily and avoid Arthur's knights, potentially. Until she found Lancelot for whatever reason. This could be something to do with the Lady of the Lake or something like that. I'm still entirely not sure why she chose to kiss Lancelot right off the bat while she was still in the form of a little girl. I don't know. Hopefully that hopefully if this is the case, similar to Merlin, perhaps this will be a case where she will just reveal her true form right afterwards. But yeah, I don't know. Now, what if she is not aging herself down? Well, hopefully there isn't a big age gap, as it doesn't seem that she is fairly super young, that much younger than Lancelot. Lancelot is 16, I believe. So it's fairly possible that maybe, just maybe, if this is Guinevere, maybe she's 13. Because she does seem fairly tall for a child, and remember, children in the Seven Deadly Sins world are fairly short, and she seems to be tall. She probably seems to be, she's about like a little over half of Lancelot's overall size. Maybe a third of his overall size. She's pretty tall for a kid for the Seven Deadly Sins, because remember, Percival's been confused for a little kid, like probably from 8 or 10 years old at that point. Hopefully she's in her early teens. And if it's an age gap of like 2 or 3, and this is just how she's been growing, then fine. But still, it just makes me kind of weird and uncomfortable, the fact that we're going this route again, similar to how Bond did with Elaine. I like the relationship with Bond and Elaine. It's it's my favorite relationship with the Seven Deadly Sins. But you gotta admit that it just seems kind of weird out of context and upon first viewing. You like the story, but the fact that I'm not a fan of lollies in this. I'm not a big fan of lollies, especially in this type of context. So I honestly don't know how to feel about this. I'm liking that we're getting introduced to Guinevere fairly early, and her role in the story is probably going to be very important. Same with Lancelot, as he's the first Knight of the Apocalypse that Percival has met, and he's being deemed as to be very strong, and stronger than Tristan. But again, the whole setup and the fact that Guinevere seems to be, in the body of a young child, perhaps like a preteen or a teen, or early teen, or something like that. It just, I don't know, it just confuses me, and I don't know how to feel about that. I know I'm kind of going off the walls with this, but yeah. But yeah, that's essentially the chapter. Just everyone looking around for Gawain again. Xion seemingly being this assassin of chaos or traitor, just for the fact that he doesn't believe in prophecies and probably just believes in himself and also people that he deems worthy, and he's taking on anyone who is in the worst case scenario could potentially hurt him and his allies, perhaps, but he's acting very suspicious about it. So perhaps this is like a type of hypnosis for all we know. But I can't wait to see how this confrontation is going to play out, because perhaps Gawain will use their true power against Xion, then everyone will rush to the scene, and then the 4 knights will officially be assembled. But there's also the fact that we have this random guy, this random traveler, fighting a holy knight right now, who's been looking for a fight. He even states, and it was even been admitted to, yeah, I'm out here to kill. That's the best way to find the strongest person here. I want to fight them. So I'm curious. We're probably going to set up for Percival to fight this guy later down the road, in the next chapter or 2. And that whole sunshine thing I said, it's just like a random thing just based on the context clues. Just the fire on the guy's hand, glove being lit on fire, and like seemingly steam is coming off him. But it could be something entirely different. But yeah, that was essentially the chapter. I don't know how I feel about the whole Guinevere and Lancelot thing. Right now I'm just assuming her name is Guinevere, considering that's kind of how Arthurian legend goes. And we're getting a lot of different plot threads in this arc, and I feel like we're going to head to a big-ass climax within the next couple of chapters and confrontations. But, yeah, that was the chapter. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think is going to happen next? What do you feel about the whole Lancelot-Guinevere thing? What do you think is going to happen with the drunk at the tavern fighting the knights and Percival's group being there? What do you think is going on with Xion? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really, really does help. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon and my Ko-fi accounts if you want to help support the channel more directly and you want to see more videos like this in the future, as well as other more discussion and theory-based videos that I have planned for in the future as well. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.